Hello viewers and welcome. This is KC School Mock Exam 2025, Paper 2. Let us go through the paper as we prepare for KCSE exams. We start with the first section, Section 1. Solve the equation, that into 2x plus 1 plus 1 over 4 into 5x minus 1 is equals to a half. How do you solve for x in this equation? Now you shall begin by eliminating the denominators in these fractions. So we have a third, 1 over 4 and 1 over 2. And you do this by getting the least common multiple of 3, 4, and 2. So what is the least common multiple of 3, 4, and 2? It is 12. So now what you're going to do is simply multiplying each of these terms by 12. So we're going to multiply the whole of these by 12. So we multiply the whole of these by 12 and also last one by 12. So when you do these, this is what you're going to get. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 4 divided by 1 is 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. Then 12 divided by 4 is 3. By 2, 1 by 2, 6. Once you've done that, this is what you're going to have. You shall have 4 into brackets 2x plus 1 plus, for this one you have 3 into 5x subtract 1 is equals to 6. We open the brackets. This will be 4 by 2x, get 8x. This will give 4 plus this will be 15x, 3 by 5x, 3 by negative 1, we get 3, negative 3 is equals to 6. Then from there you can put the like terms together. I'll put the like terms with x on the left hand side. So I'll have 8x plus 15x on that side. Then I subtract 4 from both sides. And I also add 3 both sides. Or simply take positive 4 to the right hand side and negative 3 to the right hand side. So on the right hand side I'll have negative 4 when you take positive 4 to the other side. And then negative 3, shall have add 3 there. 8x plus 15x, you get 23x is equals to, these will be 5. 6 plus 3, 9, subtract 4, that will be 5. So how do you get x? Divide both sides by 23. So this will give x as 5 divided by 23. So that is the first question. We go to question 2. Question 2, part A, expand 1 subtract 2x to power 4. So the first thing you're going to get from the Pascal's triangle is the coefficients of power 4. Pascal's triangle. The coefficients are 1, 4, 6, 4, and 1. Those are the coefficients. Then now we can expand. The first term will be 1 to power 4. 1 raised to power 4 will still be 1. Then plus the second term, we take the coefficient first, 4 multiplied by the second term is negative 2x. Then it will be raised to power 1. I can close these. Then plus the other term, we go to the next coefficient, which is 6 multiplied by negative 2x. This now will be to power 2, like that. Then you go to the other term, which is the coefficient is 4 multiplied by negative 2x to power 3, like that. Then plus the last coefficient is 1. 1 will not make any difference. Now we shall have 1 multiplied by negative 2x raised to power 4. Now you can see I've ignored a 1, the first term 1, because 1 raised to power any number will not change, it will be 1. For instance, first one here was 1 to power 5. So for the second term, you realize that this one will be 1 to power 4, which will not make any difference. The next one will be 1 to power 3, 1 to power 2, 1 to power like that. So that is why I've dropped 1, because 1 will not make any difference. So from there, let me simplify. So you have 1. This is 4 times negative 2x, negative 8x. Then the other one will be positive, of course. 6 multiplied by negative 2x. You square that. This will give 4x squared. 4x squared times 6 will give 24x squared. The next one will be negative. So negative 2x cubed. That will give negative 8x cubed times 4 give negative 32x cubed. And then the last one, negative 2x raised to power 4. That will be 16x to power 4. So that is how you're supposed to expand that, and you get a mark for that. Part B, use the expansion to find the value of 0.96 to power 4, correct to 4 significant figures. So to solve these, there are several ways you can use to solve these. The first thing, you can express 0.96 to power 4 in terms of using 2 terms. We simplify it like that, using 2 terms. And this is how you're going to write it. So 0.96 is the same as 1 subtract 0.04 or 4. Now once you have it like that, you can take the first expression you're supposed to expand there, which was 1 subtract 2, because you're using that expansion to solve this, to power 4, and you equate it to this 1 subtract 0.04 to power 4. You can see everything else is similar. The power, the first term, apart from what we have here. So simply equate this to get the value of x. So negative 2x is equals to negative 0.04. So get the value of x. So x will be simply 0.02. So now when you get the value of x, now take your expansion, which is here. Take your expansion, which is a 1 subtract 8x. X is, now you're substituting with 0.02. 0.02, that is the value of x, plus 24. X is 0.02, that is cubed, plus 16. X is 0.02 raised to power 4. You are simply taking that expansion and you substitute the value of x with 0.02. So from here, use your calculator to work out these. Carefully use your calculator and you give the answer correct to 4 significant figures, and these will be 0.8493. That is correct to 4 significant figures. Question 3. Question 3 is about errors, approximation and errors. So minimize this one a little bit. So question 3. So the expression 1 plus x divided by 2 is taken as an approximation for the root of 1 plus x. Find the percentage error in doing so if x is equals to 0.44. So you just need to substitute these, get the value of this. So 1 plus x is 0. You given x is 0.44 divided by 2. So you need to get that value first. And this will give 1.22. Then the other one, the root of 1 plus x. This will give the root of 1 plus 0.44. This will give the root of 1.44, which will give 1.2. Now, after doing that, now you need to understand when you're getting the percentage error will be given by the error divided by the original multiplied by 100. So now you can identify the error from these easily. So you can see the error is there. So you get the error by simply taking 1.22, subtract 1.2, that will be the error, then divided by the original. Which is the original? Remember this expression 1 plus x over 2 is taken as an approximation 4. So this is the original. That is the original. 1 plus x, the root of 1 plus x. So the original is 1.2. And then you multiply by 100. So you have the error. So when you subtract here, this will give 1.22 minus 1.2. That will give 0.02 divided by 1.2 multiplied by 100, and this one will give 1.667% as the percentage error. Proceed to the next question, question 4. So for x in the equation, log of x plus 6 to the base of 8 subtract log of x minus 3 to the base of 8 is equals to 2/3. There are several ways of working out these. I will use this method when you're writing from index form to logarithmic form. So for instance, if you have, let's say, log of m to the base of n is equals to k, that is logarithmic form, and you want to write that one in index notation, you're going to take n to power k is equals to m. So that is the concept that I'm going to use. So the first thing, look at the left hand side. You can express that one as a singular logarithm. So you're going to use certain law. This is the law. Remember this. Logarithm of a subtract the logarithm of b. That one written as a singular logarithm will be logarithm of a divided by logarithm of b. So when you look at what we have there, it is therefore very easy to write this one, the singular log. So this will be logarithm of, we have x plus 6 divided by x minus 3 to the base of 8. That is the left hand side. And this one is equals to 2/3. So when you look at this, you notice that this one is in logarithmic notation, just like whatever we had there. So if you were to write that in index notation, remember what we did? You take this, write this one in index notation, take n to power k. So now you're going to take 8 to power 2/3. So 8 to power 2/3 is equals to what we have here, m. The m is x plus 6 divided by x minus 3. So x plus 6 divided by x minus 3. 8 to power 2/3, we can simplify that because 8 can be expressed as 2 cubed. And therefore, 8 to power 2/3 will be 2 cubed, then multiply by 2/3. And these will simply give 2 raised power 2, which is equivalent to 4. When you divide out these, you get 2 squared, which is 4. So once you've done that, so this one simplifies to 4. 8 to power 2/3 is 4, is equals to x plus 6 divided by x minus 3. So from here, getting the value of x is simple because you just need to cross multiply. So 4 multiplied by x minus 3 is equals to 1 multiplied by x plus 6. So this will be 4x minus 12 is equals to x plus 6. So from there, like terms together. So you have 4x minus x is equals to 6 plus 12. So this will give 3x is equals to 18. And therefore, x will be 18 divided by 3, which will give 6. We go to question 5. Make p the subject of the formula. So you need to make p the subject of the formula. So when you look at that equation, both the left hand side and the right hand side, there's something that you're going to notice. Once you subtract x from both sides, you can see it there, that one and that one, there's something you will remain with. E is equals to, so this one will give the root of p squared minus 3u divided by y minus 3x p squared. That is when you subtract. You can see you have x from the left hand side and you have x from the right hand side. When you subtract it from both sides, this is what you're going to remain with. So from there, get rid of the root sign. How do you get rid of the root sign? By simply squaring both sides. When you square both sides, the left hand side here, you get e squared is equals to p squared minus 3u, everything divided by y minus 3xp squared. Then from that step, you can cross multiply. So we have e squared multiplied by y minus 3xp squared is equals to 1 multiplied by that, you get p squared minus 3u. So open this bracket, you get e squared y minus 3x. There will be an e there. So e squared 3x, or you can, let me reorganize this one like this. You will have 3 e squared x p squared is equals to p squared minus 3u. Now, since you're making p the subject of the formula, bring the p's together, the same side. I can take them to the right hand side or to the left hand side, whichever you choose. So I can take this one to this side, and I can take this one to this side. So that I have, we'll have e squared y plus 3u is equals to p squared plus 3e squared x p squared, like that. So now you can see that it is possible now to make p squared. You factor out from the right hand side, p squared is common, so that you have 1 plus 3e squared x, like that. Then the left hand side, you have e squared y plus 3u. So divide both sides by 1 plus 3e squared x, like that. This side also 1 plus 3 e squared x, and this will give p squared as e squared y plus 3u, everything divided by 1 plus 3 e squared x. Now from there, to get p, get the roots, both sides, square root of both sides, so that now you can have p as, when you get the square root, you get positive or negative of, so this will give e squared y plus 3u, everything divided by 1 plus 3 e squared x. So we've made p the subject of the formula. We go to the next question, question 6. For question 6, an auto spare dealer sells 2 types of lubricants, A and B, in his shop. While purchasing, type A cost 40 shillings per 100 ml tin, and type B cost 60 shillings per 100 ml tin. He has 15,000 to spend on both types of lubricants. Type A should not be less than 3 liters, while type B should be at least a liter. He buys X tins of type A and Y tins of type B. Write down the three inequalities which represent the above information. So you need to analyze these statements so that you can come up with these inequalities. Carefully analyze the statements. So there are two types of lubricants, A and B. Type A costs 40 shillings per 100 ml. Type B costs 60 per 100 ml tin. Then he has 15,000 to spend on both types of lubricants. So now, because you've been given that X tins, he buys X tins of type A and Y tins of type B. And the cost of one tin is 40 shillings. That is type A, 40 shillings. And there are X tins. So the cost of X tins will be 40 multiplied by X. So the cost of one tin of type A is 40 shillings per 100 ml. Then there are X tins. So the X tins will be 40 multiplied by X. That is the cost of type A tins. Then type B cost 60 shillings per tin. And there are Y tins of type B. So Y tins will be 60 shillings times Y. So now these one represent the total cost. And he has 15,000 to spend on both types of lubricants, A and B. So this one being the cost, 40x plus 60y, he has to spend 15,000. So he cannot have more than 15,000. So it is either 40x plus 60y, which is the cost of these things, A and B, should be equal to 15,000 or less. So he can only spend either 15,000 or less. So that is less than or equal to 15. It can be more. He cannot spend whatever he doesn't have. So you can simplify this inequality by dividing all through by 20. When you divide all through by 20, each term by 20, here you get x, 2x plus 3y is equals, these are less than or equal to 750. That is a simplified inequality. Then you go to the other statement. Type A should not be less than 3 liters. Type A tins are X. So X should not should not be less than 3 liters. Should not be less than 3 liters means then it should be greater than or equal to. That is the meaning. Should not be less than 3 liters. Therefore, it should be greater than or equal to 3 liters. And now we are not going to write 3 liters because you can see we are given the cost of 40 per 100 ml tin. And now we have 3 liters. So we convert 3 liters will be equivalent to, remember, 1,000 ml is equivalent to 1 liter. So this will be 3,000 ml. And since the cost is 100 per tin is 40 shillings per 100 ml tin. So therefore we have to divide this one by 100. And this will give 30. That will give 30. So type A should not be less than 30. So this will be 30. Then the other one, while type B should be at least a liter. Type B tins are represented by Y. So Y should be this one is should be at least a liter. At least means greater than or equal to a liter. So 1 liter, again 1 liter is both of these, type A tins and type B tins, the cost is given per 100 ml tin. So therefore that is why we have to convert this liter. 1 liter is 1,000 ml, and since the cost is per 100 ml tin, we divide this one by 100 and this will give 10. So that one should be greater than or equal to 10. That is what the meaning of at least a liter. So now we have the 3 inequalities. So we have the first one. First one is there. So the second one is there. And then the third one is there. So we can proceed to the next question. So the next question is on circles, chords, and tangents. Question 7. In the figure below, PT is a tangent to the circle at P, and AT passes through the center of the circle. As you can see from the diagram, if PT is equals to 9 centimeters and AT is equals to 12 centimeters, find the radius of the circle correct to 1 decimal place. So let us indicate whatever we are given. So AT, you can see AT, the whole of that is 12 centimeters. And then we have PT is given as 9. So from that, for us to get the radius, we'll first get the diameter, and the diameter is given by AB. So that is the diameter. Once you get the diameter, automatically we'll get the radius. How do you get the diameter? There's a property that we're going to use that will help us to get BT, because we have AT. So once we get BT, we only need to take AT, subtract BT to remain with. Let me write it here. So we need, for us to get AB, so AB will be given by AT minus BT. So therefore we need to get BT. And what will help us to get BT? We are going to use a property, the tangent second property. So we have PT is a tangent, then AT is a second. And this is a property. The property states that if you take TA multiply by TB, that one should give PT squared. So TA already we have, that is 12, then times TB, we don't know, we don't want to get that. TB or BT is okay. So PT squared is 9 squared, which is 81. I've squared that. So you can see now we can get TB, and that one will be simply 81 divided by 12. So this one will be 81 divided by 12 will give 5 point, but this will give us 6.75 centimeters. That is what you get. Then after that, now we have these 6.75 centimeters. So from there we said that we can get AB. AB now will be given by AT, which is 12, minus BT or TB, which is 6.75. That gives 5.25, and that one is the diameter. That is the diameter. Once you get the diameter, now getting the radius, you just need to take the diameter and divide it by 2. And this one correct 1 decimal place will give exactly 2.6 centimeters. So that is how we're supposed to do that. We can go to the next question, question 8. Find the radius and the center of the circle whose equation is 3x squared plus 3y squared minus 6x plus 3 plus 12y is equals to 0. Now when you look at all these terms, it is possible to simplify all these terms by dividing all through by 3. Divide all the terms by 3. And when you do that, you'll get x squared plus y squared, subtract 2x plus 1 plus this will be 4y. You divide each of the terms by 3 to simplify that. Then from there, you can complete the squares. We have incomplete squares here. I'll group them so that you can see. So we have x squared minus 2x. So we need to complete that square. And then we have y squared plus 4y. We need also to complete these. We need to complete that. And then you can take this constant here to the other side so that you get -1. Now completing these squares, these are how we complete them. So you have x squared minus 2x, then plus. For this one, you simply take the coefficient of x, you divide it by 2, and then you square. Simple as that. Then for the next, you do the same. The coefficient of y, which is 4, divided by 2, and then you square. this one should be equal to, so this one should give you this negative 1. So let me complete. You get x squared minus 2x, then this one will be plus 1, plus this is y squared plus 4y, but this one will be plus 4. So check whatever you have added in both scenarios. So you have added 1, should also be added on the other side. You've added 4, should also be added on the other side, the right hand side. So once you do that, now factorize x squared minus 2x plus 1. When you factorize that, you get x. When you factorize that, you get x subtract 1 squared. Factorize y squared plus 4y plus 4. When you factorize that, you will get y plus 2 squared is equals to, right hand side you get 4. When you look at this equation, it is a standard equation of a circle. The standard equation of a circle is like this: x subtract a squared plus y subtract b squared is equals to r squared, where AB is the center, of the circle. So if you can simply compare these, you can get the value of a. So negative 1 is equals to negative a, so therefore a is equals to 1. Then compare these. Positive 2 is equals to negative b. And see that positive 2 is equals to negative b, so b is equals to negative 2. So therefore the center, right, written in terms of coordinate, will be, the center will be 1, negative 2. Then compare the radius. Radius squared is equals to 4. So radius squared is equals to 4. Therefore, radius is equals to, we only consider the positive, this will be 2 units, the distance. So that is how you work out question number 8. We go to question number 9. Without using a calculator or mathematical tables, express root of 3. So you have root of 3 divided by 1 cosine of 30 in surd form, and simplify. So what we need to express in surd form, look at the denominator, cos of 30. So cosine of 30. Where do you get these? To get these, you normally use the equilateral triangle of sides 2 units. And then we divide it like that. So this will be 1, 1, 2, 2, and then this one is root of 3. We use an equilateral triangle whereby this will be 60 degrees, this will be 60 degrees, and then this one, because it is divided, it will be 30, and this one will be 30 degrees. So the height of that triangle will be root of 3. Using Pythagoras theorem, this is what we use. So you can use either of these angle to get the cosine of 30. So cosine of 30 is equivalent to adjacent, whichever you use, to be root of 3 divided by the hypotenuse. So you have it there. So once now you have that, you can substitute it here. So you have root of 3 divided by 1 subtract cosine of 30. We got it as root of 3 divided by 2. Now to simplify this, you have to rationalize the denominator, and you do that by simply multiplying both the numerator and the denominator by the conjugate of the denominator. The conjugate of the denominator is 1 plus root of 3 divided by 2. So you do that for the numerator to rationalize this, root 3 divided by 2. So for the numerator, you have root 3 when you open the brackets plus root 3 multiplied by root 3 divided by 2 will be root 9 over 2. Root 9 over 2 will be, root 9 is 3. So that one will be 3 divided by 2. Then divided by, so when you look keenly, observe the denominator. This one is difference of 2 squares. It is difference of 2 squares. And so therefore this one will translate to 1 squared minus root of 3 divided by 2 squared, which will give 1, subtract root of 3 squared will be 3, then 2 squared, that will be 4. And 1 subtract 3 over 4 to be the same as a quarter. I've used the concept of difference of two squares. And I'd like you to recall these: a plus b multiplied by a minus b is equals to a squared minus b squared. That is the concept that I have used here. It is the concept that I've used here to work out that. So now the denominator simplifies to quarter. So now to simplify these, to get rid of that fractions in the denominator, this is what you do. So you simply multiply each term by 4. So multiply each term by 4. 4 times root 3, 4 root 3 plus multiply. Actually, what you're doing, you're simply taking these, multiply this by 4, multiply this by 4, and multiply this by 4. Multiply this one properly. So this one you're multiplying by 4. So you shall have, this will give 6. And then for the denominator, you get 1. So that is the simplified expression in surd form. Question 10. The table below represents the mass and the volume of a liquid measured at room temperature. I have the table there having mass and volume. Part A, by plotting the points and drawing the line of best fit, estimate the density of the liquid. Estimate the density of the liquid. So the first thing is to understand what are you supposed to plot on the y-axis and on the x-axis. So dealing with density. So density is given by mass divided by volume. So therefore mass will be given by density times volume. So we don't have density. So density here acts as the gradient. If we actually draw that straight line, so if you simply compare these with the equation of a straight line, this is y is equals to mx plus c. So you notice that we have the variables y corresponds to that, and then v corresponds to x. So what should be plotted against what? So you're going to plot mass against volume. So mass should go to the y-axis, and then volume to go here. So you have volume here. Volume, the x-axis. So when I look at the scale, 70, starting 70 both, so can use, because the scale on the y-axis seems to be, the squares are less, so can do these. So you can use for the y-axis, you can use 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70. Then for the x-axis, you can use 5, 10, 15, 20, you can use 5. 1 centimeter represent 5. 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, and 70, like that. So now when you're plotting, you need to be very keen, because you have volume. Volume is on the x-axis, so the first point should be 10, 8, 10, 8, 10, 8. So 10, 8, 10, and then we have 8. You need to understand the scale, both axes. 10 on the y-axis, so it should be here. 10, 8 should be there. One small square on the y-axis represents 2. One small square on the x-axis represents 1. The other one is 13, 10. 13, 10. So 13, 11, 12. This is 11, 12, 13. We mark it properly. So it's supposed to be there, 13, 10. 13, 10. Yeah, it is there. Then the next one is 2020. Is there. Then we have 29, 21, 29, then 21. And 29 is there. Then the next is 35, 30. That is there. The other one is a 43, 37, 43, 37. So 43, 37. 41, 42, 43, 37. So this one is 38, 37 should be somewhere there. Then the next one is a 60, 52. 60, 52. Then 63, 55. 63, 55. 63, 55. So 61, 62, 63, 55. Somewhere there. And then the last one is 70, 70. 70. So those are the points. Now we need to draw the line of best fit and estimate the density. The line of best fit is a line that contains most of the points. So with all these points that you can see here, you need to come up with a line that contains most of the points. So which is that line? The line seems to that will contain most of the points passing through that. Yeah, exactly. So you can see that line is the one that contains most of the points, and that is the line of best fit. You need to be very keen when you're drawing these. Now, having drawn that, you need to identify or estimate the density. So how do you get the density? Density, as you said, is given by mass divided by volume. So you need to get a point that lies on that line, like this one. We have this point here, 10, 8. You can see 10, 8. 10, 8. So this particular point here, so when mass is 8, then divided by volume is 10. So density here will be given by 0.8. 0.8. So 0.8 is the density. You can pick any other point. Use the point that only lie on that line of best fit. You can pick another one that lies like this one or this one. Still, you get, even if there will be some variance, it will not be a very big value. All right, so now the other question, part B, determine the equation of your graph, the equation of the graph. So remember, we said that mass is given by what? Density times volume. Density times volume. So now we have density. In this case, density is going to act as, that is like the gradient. So to get the equation, you can get the gradient. You can proceed and get the gradient as well. But definitely from the way I look at this equation, gradient is given by the density, which we've just calculated there. So there will be some variance depending on the points that you're using. So, but there is a range that is given for the density because we use different points. So we have the last one here. I can pick the last point here. The last point to get the gradient. The last point is this point is 60, 63, 55. So 63, 55. And the other one that is here, the first one here is 10, 8. 10, 8. So you can get the gradient. The gradient, which is the density, will be given by 8 subtract 55 divided by 10 subtract 63. So 8 subtract 55, 10 subtract 63. So still getting something close to that. So this will give 0.8868. 68. So when you're giving the equation, you can give the equation as m is equals to 0.8868 v multiplied by v. Question 11. The population of two towns, Kadwana and Siakago, for 3 years was as follows. So Kadwana, first year, second year, third year, 40,000, 48,000, 56,000. Siakago, 40,000, 48,000, and 57,600. Calculate the difference in population of the two after 6 years. Calculate the difference in population of the two after 6 years. So let us look at Kadwana. First year 40,000, second year 48,000, third year 56,000. You notice that this one follows a sequence, and if you are to get the population after 6 years, we need to know what is happening, the rule that is applying in these figures. So from 40,000 to 48,000, that is a difference of 8,000. Then from 48,000 to 56,000, that is another difference of 8,000. So that one, having those values 40,000, 48, 56, they give a sequence, and that is arithmetic sequence, which has a common difference. So you can see, if you take 48,000 subtract 40,000, you get 8,000. That is a common difference. Again, when you take 56,000, you subtract 48,000, you still get 8,000. So the common difference is actually 8,000. A sequence that has a common difference is arithmetic sequence. And therefore, having known that, we shall take 40,000 to be the first term. And then you know how to get the nth term. The nth term of AP, arithmetic sequence, the nth term is given by a plus n minus 1 into brackets d. So that means for us to get the population of Kadwana after 6 years, we'll be required to get the 6th term. So the first year is the first term, second year the second term, third year the third term. So 6 years we get the 6th term. The 6th term will give us the population after 6 years. So how do you get the 6th term of an arithmetic progression? You just use this expression for the nth term. If it is 6 years, n will be 6. So therefore, this will give a plus, substitute n with 6, because you want the population after 6 years. This will be 6 subtract 1. So that will be 5d. So 6th term will be given by a, the first term, which is 40,000, plus 5 multiplied by d is the common difference, which is 8,000. So that will now give us the population of the 6th year. That is after 6 years. What will be the population, the 6th term? So this will give 80,000. That is what you're going to get. Then after getting that, now we go to Siakago and notice what is happening in Siakago. For Siakago, the first year is 40,000, second year 48,000, third year 57,600. That one is not common difference, but you can try to check because 40 to 48, that is 8,000, then 48 to 57, that is a difference of not 8,000. That one is 9,600. So that is not common difference. We can try whether to test whether that is a GP with a common ratio, and this is how we get. Let's check whether it's a common ratio. We get the common ratio by taking the second year the second year, which is 40,000, divided by the first year, 40,000. We want to see whether that will be equivalent to third year, 57,600, divided by the second year, 48,000. And we want to see, so divide and see whether this one is giving you a constant value. And when you use the calculator, you notice that both of these are giving a common ratio of 1.2. 1.2 means that there's an increase of 20% after every year. So there's a common ratio. So if the common ratio is there, then this one is a GP, geometric progression. And now we need to know, how do you get the nth term of the geometric progression? We get it by AR raised to power n, where n is the position of the term. In this case, n will be 6 because we want the population after 6 years. So A will still be 40,000. A will be 40,000, and then multiply by R, the common ratio, we got it to be 1.2, and then we raise it to n. Since we want to, this the nth term is, nth term, I left something here. The nth term of a geometric progression is given by AR raised to power n minus 1. So in this case, n will be 6. So we are getting the sixth term, which represents the 6 years after 6 years. So we get AR, n minus 1 will be 6 subtract 1, and this will give AR raised to power 5. So that is why now we take A to be 40,000, as I've indicated there, then multiply by R, common ratio is 1.2, everything raised to power 5. So this is what is going to give us the population after 6 years for Chicago. So for Chicago, this is a geometric progression. We have the first term is 40,000. The common ratio is 1.2. So we are getting the population after 6 years. That is that we are getting the 6th term of this sequence. So once you work out these, 40,000 multiplied by 1.2 raised to power 5, this one gives 532.8. And approximately, because this one is population, we can ignore the decimal. This one we can give it as 99,532, because we are dealing with the population, the number of people. So now we have the population after 6 years for Katwana, 80,000. Then you have the population for Chicago after 6 years, which is 99,532. Now you're supposed to get the difference. So difference, you simply take 99,532, and then we subtract 80,000, the difference of the two. So when you subtract these, you will get 19,532. So for alpha, in the equation, 6 sine squared alpha subtract cosine of alpha subtract 5 is equals to 0. So look at that equation. We have sine and we have cosine. So we have to make them uniform. And what is going to help us is the identity that this is sine squared alpha plus cosine squared alpha is equals to 1. And therefore, sine squared alpha will be given by 1 subtract cosine squared alpha. So we're going to substitute sine squared alpha with 1 minus cos squared alpha. So we have 6 into bracket sine squared alpha, we substitute that is a 1 subtract cos squared alpha minus cos alpha minus 5 is equals to 0, like that. So open the bracket here, you get 6 subtract 6 cosine squared alpha subtract cosine alpha minus 5 is equals to 0. So you can reorganize this one to form a quadratic equation. And when you reorganize it, you'll get 6 cosine squared alpha plus cosine alpha minus 1 is equals to 0. So now, since this one is a quadratic equation, you can try to let cosine of alpha to be, let's say, letter m. So that now you have 6m squared plus m minus 1 is equals to 0. You can solve this quadratic equation using any suitable method. So I will use factorization. So look for two numbers whose product is negative 6 and sum is 1. So those numbers are 3 and negative 2. 6m squared plus m minus 1. Now you can go ahead and factorize. So you're going to have 6m squared plus 3m minus 2m minus 1 is equals to 0. So what is common here? 3m is common. So remain is 2m plus 1. Then minus 2 minus actually this will be 1. 2m plus 1 is equals to 0. This one will give 3m minus 1. 2m plus 1 is equals to 0. So we have two values of m. 3m minus 1 is equals to 0. So m is a third, or 2m plus 1 is equals to 0. So m is equals to negative half. Now remember, you're not solving for m. M was to help us solve that equation. Cosine of m is equals to, remember, cosine of alpha. Cosine of alpha is equals to m. So the first one will be cosine of alpha. So cosine of alpha is equals to the first value of m, which is a third. So now using the unit circle, consider we're going to get the angles and look at the range 0 to 300. So where is cosine positive? Because this is positive a third. Cosine is positive in the first and the fourth quadrant. So get the cos inverse. So cos inverse of a third. So alpha will be 70. Cos inverse of a third will be 70.53. Now that is the first angle, the first quadrant. So in the other quadrant, which is the fourth quadrant, you take 360, subtract 70.53, and these will give 289.47 degrees. Now that is for the first solution. Now we go to the other solution, which is here. So cos alpha is equals to negative a half. So again, now this is negative. Where is cosine negative in which quadrant? Is a cosine negative the second and the third. So get the cos inverse of a half, not negative a half, cos inverse of a half. That will give 60. That is the angle that you're going to use. So 60, cos inverse of a half. Remember, the negative is simply there to actually tell us the quadrants where you're going to get the angles. That is why the negative is there. So having that 60 now, getting the angle in the second quadrant, we just simply take 180, subtract 60, we get 120. And then in the third quadrant, that is where cosine again is negative, we'll take 180 plus 60. And that will give 240 degrees. So now let me list all the solutions for alpha. So we have the first one was 70.53. Then we have 289.47. Then we have the other one is 120 and 240 degrees. So those are the solutions. Go to question 13. For question 13, Arabic coffee costs costing 90 shillings per kg is mixed with Robusta coffee costing 75 shillings per kilogram in the ratio 2:3. Calculate the selling price of the mixture per kilogram if a profit of 15% is to be realized to the nearest shilling. Now, we have the Arabic coffee costing 90 and the Robusta 75, given the ratio. So what you can get from there is the cost, price. Remember the cost price is the one that you're going to equate to 100%. Cost price is 100%. How do we get the cost price? Cost price of 1 kg of the mixture, we are going to take a 90, because 90, we have 90 the cost, and then we have 75, then the ratio is 2:3. So we get the cost of 1 kilogram. So cost price of 1 kg of the mixture is given by, you take 90 multiply by 2, then you add 75 multiply by 3, and then you divide by the sum of the ratio. The sum of the ratio is 5. 3 plus 2, 5. This one is going to give the cost price of 1 kg of the mixture, and this one will give you 81 shillings. 81 shillings. So that is the cost price, and that is we said that cost price will be 100%. So if the selling price for this person to sell and get a profit of 15%, therefore the selling price should be 100 plus 15. So it should be 115%. So you just simply need to take these and equate. So if 81 shillings, which is the cost price, is 100%, what about 115% now after making the profit? What will be the selling price? So just cross multiply and take 115 multiplied by 81 divided by 100, and this gives 93 shillings and 15 cents at the nearest shillings. This one will give 93 shillings. We go to question 14. The gradient of a curve at any point is given by 2x minus 1. Given that the curve passes through point 15, find the equation of the curve. So you're given the gradient, that, and the gradient function is given by that. So that is what you're given as a 2x subtract 1. It passes through this point 15. Find the equation. So to find the equation given the gradient function, equation will be given by y is equals to, you going to integrate the gradient function, this 2x minus 1, with respect to x. And when you integrate these, you get 2x. When you integrate 2x, this will give x squared. Then negative 1, this will be negative x, then plus a constant. So that is the equation. So now, because you need to find the constant, you're going to use the, because it passes through point 15, so you're going to substitute x is equals to 1, y is equals to 5. Substitute. So y is 5, then x is equals to 1. So 1 squared minus 1 plus c. So you notice that c will be 5. So now you can write the function, the equation of the curve, be given by x squared minus x plus 5. Simple as that. Question 15. Part A, given that AB is equals to 6 centimeters, construct locus of P such that angle APB is equals to 90 degrees. So let me just do a sketch. So you have a line here. So you have a line, and this line is AB, 6 centimeters. So we want to construct the locus of point P such that APB is equals to 90 degrees. What is going to assist you here is the angle properties of a circle. We have a property that we do have in relating to circles and the chords, that the diameter of the circle subtends an angle of 90 degrees at the circumference. So that is the concept that is going to help you. The diameter subtends an angle of 90 degrees at the circumference. So because we have APB, so P will be located anywhere along this arc. So that is why we have locus of P. So the locus of P will be anywhere along that arc. So what we need to do to construct that locus, when you look at it, because it will be on the upper side of that line, P can be on the upper side of that line, AB, on the lower side, that will form a circle. So the locus of P will be a continuous circle. So what we require to do here is simply construct AB and then get the midpoint and then use the midpoint to construct the circle. As simple as that. So this is what I'm going to do. So I'll start by constructing that line. So it should be 6 centimeters. So that is A. That is A. 6 centimeters. So 6 centimeters. Taking a measurement of 6 centimeters. So 6 centimeters is there. That is 6 centimeters. So that is 6 centimeters. That is B, 6 centimeters. Then from there, I locate the center. Just locate the center, and you can get the center because this is 6 centimeters. The center will be 3. So just identify the center of that circle. Center of that circle, you can bisect that line, or you can simply measure. So the center is supposed to be 3. We use a ruler instead. See, that one is limited. So 3 will be somewhere there. So this I shall have 3. So that will be the center. So using that as the center, you simply need to construct a circle. So my pair of compass that I'm using is limited. It can't go beyond, and see the least it can go is 3.2, 3.1. That is why you can see I'm trying to adjust. That is the least it can go. That is why when you draw the circle, you notice that it may not exactly touch point A and B. So there's that limitation of my pair of compass that I'm using here. That is the lowest. That is the lowest that it can go. But actually yours, because I know your tools are okay. Once you have 6 centimeters, and then you have the center as 3, and use the center there as the radius, you will draw a circle that touches A and B. It should touch these points here. So now that means that any angle that you make from A, because A will be part of the circumference, any angle that you're going to make there from A to B, that one should be 90 degrees. That one should be 90 degrees. So the locus of P will be this one. This will be the locus. So this will be the locus of P. Again, on the other side, still the other side, don't forget to also be also on this other side here. So this one again, the locus of P. So that is all you require to do. Simply draw the line AB and then get the center of that line AB, you just, if it is 6, the center will be at 3. Then use that center as the radius and construct the circle. So that is exactly what you're supposed to do accurately. So from there, part B, hence determine the area enclosed by the locus of P. The area enclosed by the locus of P. Since the locus of P is that arc that I've drawn there, it is the circle. It is the circle with AB as the diameter. So you simply need to get the area of that circle. That is the area enclosed by the locus of P. The area enclosed is the circle. So area of the circle, simply pi r squared. So pi, which is 22/7, times the radius is 3. So work out that. That one should give you 22. That one should give you 22.29 centimeters squared. As simple as that. So now, having done that, now we can go to the last question. The last question in that section is here. 16. Given the vectors A is 3j plus 2k and B is equals to 4i minus 7k, find P if P is equals to 3a minus B. So what you're supposed to ensure here is the order. The order of these I, j, k vectors should be, the order should be I followed by j followed by k. So you need to be very keen with that. So for A, you can see it is starting with j. So that means we don't have I. So if we don't have I, then that means it will be 0i. I will write it first in column form. Then j, we take the coefficient of j. The coefficient of j is 3. So you have 3j, so the coefficient is 3. Then k is 2. So that is what you're supposed to do. Then for B, so for B, we have 4i, so the coefficient is 4. Then j, you can see you don't have j, so that means we have 0j. And then we have k's as negative 7k, that is negative 7. So the order is very important. I followed by j followed by k. So now P should be given by 3a. A is 032 minus B, which is 4, 0, negative 7, like that. So this one will give 3 multiplied by 0, multiply everything there. This will be 0, this will be 9, this will be 4, multiply everything there by 3, then minus 4, 0, 7, like that. Reorganize this one properly. So you have 4, 0, negative 7, like that. So 0 subtract 4, negative 4, 9 subtract 0, 9, 4 subtract negative 7 is 13. Like that. So this one, therefore, P will therefore be given by negative 4i plus 9j plus 13k. So that is what you're supposed to have as the solution.